All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Monday, May 1st, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin and the stat guy, Dustin Reese. How's it going, guys?
It's definitely going well on my end. My Astros won. The Avalanche lost. Nate McQuirk, I'm sorry, but you had to go down. You had to go down. And next, your Rangers. The Astros are hot on tip of the Rangers, so that's going to be the next one. And the trifecta, Nate, is going to be when the Broncos have a terrible season. Other than that, what a time to be alive. Go Stars. Go Stars.
How you doing, Dustin?
It's May 1st and I have 3 inches of snow on the ground. That should tell you how I'm doing.
It's cold and rainy here. Cold and rainy yesterday. I had to travel. Got caught in a damn hailstorm. I'm trying to get there. Almost got rear-ended on the damn highway. Somebody not paying attention. That traffic in front of them was coming to a stop because everybody was stopping. Luckily, they were able to go over the other lane and they barely missed me. I thought for sure I was done. He hit me and I was going into the people in front of me. And he was moving. It would have been good, but it was nasty yesterday and kind of nasty out today here. Had a lot of stuff going on over the weekend. NFL draft completing, and of course you have NBA playoffs. Warriors knock out the Kings in 7 games.
Yes, they did. How about that Curry, for crying out loud? Damn. He's only the second player, Gonzo, the second player in NBA history. Can you guess who the other one was? To get 200 points in a playoff series? Do you know who the other one was?
Off the top of my head.
Oh, you know who he is. Stat guy. No looking, no Googling. Who was he?
MJ?
All day. Say it with your chest. All day.
Didn't MJ do it multiple times too?
Huh?
Didn't Michael do it multiple times too?
I don't know exactly the number of times, but I know that he was the only one to get to that 200 realm, and obviously Steph got there now. But yeah, because before I think it was I want to say MJ has gotten there more than once. I'd have to go back and do some research.
I think MJ did it without even going 7 games too.
Yeah, I'd have to do some research on that to get more specifics. But stat guy, they call you stat guy for a reason, so I'm gonna ride with that one.
Hey, how's it going, Jones? Frankie says, Jay, you love the Cubs. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, because he put that from last go around. Hey, I saw that. He's the first to score 50 in a Game 7 series?
He's the first player to score 50 on a Game 7.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Hey, no problem, Gary. Had a good time last night. Enjoyed the show.
I'm gonna go with the Bruins on that. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I think the Bruins was the bigger choke for me personally.
I don't, mainly because Florida has shown the ability to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference because they were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference last year. I think the Bucks were a bigger choke job because they single-handedly let one player eliminate them.
Yeah, Jimmy playoff, Jimmy buckets. Wow, I gotta tell you, man, I was really impressed with Jimmy Butler. I really was. I was impressed, and I really think he's going to take out the Knicks. I think this is where I think it's going to be just like last time. You know, the Knicks got past the first round and they get tanked out in the second. I think it's going to happen exactly this year too. I think the Miami Heat are going to take out the Knicks. I really believe that.
And do you know that with the win yesterday by the Warriors, that NBA history was made yesterday?
You might want to hit me up with that knowledge.
For the first time in NBA history, the final 8 remaining playoff teams are one of each seed.
Oh, I did see the graphic on that. Yeah, I thought that was – Frankie shared it. I thought that was pretty amazing that there's one of every ranking in there. That's insane. Frankie said he's hurt. He's hurt though, Jay. He hurt it. Did Jimmy hurt his ankle?
Yeah, he sprained his ankle in that game yesterday. Or
I don't care. Jimmy look. If Fox could play with the broke fingertip, he gonna come out there and play with that ankle. This is Jimmy Buckets. We're not talking about Kawhi Leonard.
it's one thing to play, and how effective is he going to be able to be on it, depending on how hurt it is.
Hey, Mr. Negativity. Mr. Negativity, go back into your hole. We're throwing positive vibes out today. Okay, come back out of your hole. No, but you are correct, Gonzo. I mean, it's one thing to play, but again, how effective will he be? I mean, he's going to have to be effective because he is the heart and soul of that damn team. But again, I think more people just got to step up. I mean, I know, obviously Oladipo's not there and Hero's not there, but that means, Bam Adebayo's going to have to. He's going to have to step up and do something. Other guys are going to not Clint Capella. Who's that center for those guys? No, I guess it is Bam. So yeah, Bam's going to have to step up. Other players got to step up.
Yeah, he's they had some guys step up yesterday. Struce, a couple other guys. I didn't get to watch a lot of the game. I watched a little bit of it before I left to go out of town, but. I had the Knicks winning the series before the series started. I still like the Knicks. They need to get wrangled. Yeah. That affected them yesterday, where I didn't think it really affected them that much in the first round. Yesterday, it seemed like it did. But I think it's going to be a good series. I do. I think Knicks and Heat will be a good series. I think Lakers and Warriors are going to end up being a pretty good series.
So let me ask you this: so Pride. I saw on Facebook in his predictions going forward where he had the Lakers over the Warriors. Is that how you see it? Do you see Lakers are taking out the Warriors? Because I don't see it that way.
I have the Warriors advancing.
Yeah, that's how and no offense, as I know that's Frankie's team, but like I was telling Frankie, number one, Golden State is strong at home, and their first two games are at home. And number two, I felt like that the Warriors, come playoff time are a different team. And when their backs are against the wall, this team doesn't give up for shit. Nothing, and not to say that the Lakers can't win it, but I just think that if they're going to win it, they're going to have to take one out of those two games at Golden State.
Well, yeah, I think they need to get one of those games as well. I think it's going to be fun, and I think the Nuggets are going to beat the Suns. I just don't think the Suns. I don't think the Suns have enough depth coming off the bench. They got to play their starters so many minutes, and I think them guys for one are going to wear out, and you just got less margin of error when you don't have nobody able to come off the bench. That's being productive, I should say.
True.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Hey. Frankie, before you say anything, I just want to let you know, man. Nate's talking some shit right now.
Jay trying to get it started early.
It's all good, man. Jay should know that I'm not gonna come in here and take that shit. Listen, Nate, for one, and Jay knows this, the Yankees are literally injured, so he can go ahead and have it. He can go ahead and have the 3 out of 4. It's no problem. It really is no problem. Because at the end of the day, we all know where the Rangers are going to be in October, and we all know where the Yankees are going to be in October. So you can go ahead and have that win, Nate. Go ahead, celebrate. If you want to pop open a champagne bottle at the end of April to the beginning of May, just for celebrating getting a 3 out of 4 wins in the Yankees while they were hurt, congratulations. But let me tell you this, Nate. Where's Jacob deGrom?
In the hospital.
Thank you, Jay.
Hey, I got two things to say to Nate. And I'll make it short and sweet. Number one, how'd the Reds treat you, Nate? How did the Reds treat you? Because I still got the broom from it that Gonzo mailed to me. So when we play you, we can take you out too. Number two, how are your Avalanches doing? Are they still in it? Because I'm pretty sure the Kraken took you out. Where you at?
Let's not talk about hockey right now. Let's go to another subject. We're not gonna talk about hockey. Listen, Nate's more of a diehard, and I told this to Jay last night as well. Nate is more of a diehard hockey fan.
He is. Nate is a diehard hockey guy.
Because
I think that
he's
any
from Colorado.
of us are. Yeah, so like I think more than any of us here are less of a fan of hockey than Nate is. More really like.
Stat Guy's a hockey guy. Stat Guy's hockey.
Yeah, but is Stat Guy really like on that level where if his team freaking loses in the playoffs, like he's not gonna give a shit, or is he really gonna give a shit? I don't think Stat Guy will care, honestly.
The only time I've ever legitimately gave a shit about my team ever losing in the playoffs was the 2017 Vikings when they lost at Philly. And then the Cubs in 08 when they had the best record in baseball the entire year and then got swept by the Dodgers.
Yeah,
but I got a question for you, that guy. Again, me and Frankie, if you obviously incorporate Gonzo as soon as he figure out who his hockey team is. I think he's decided on Columbus. But let me ask you this: as new guys, they're grabbing a hold of the hockey thing. How do you see the Stars playing up against the Kraken? Because that's what we got to play next. We got to play the Kraken. How do you see that series playing out?
Oh, can I answer that quick, Dustin? Can I answer that quick, that guy?
Yeah.
I feel, and I'm going to be realistic with you, Jay. I'm going to be realistic with you. I feel that the Stars are, and I'm completely behind your Stars, because you're completely behind my Lakers after you just said that, you don't feel confident that the Lakers can beat the Warriors. That kind of upset me because you had different thoughts.
I didn't say no. I said that doesn't mean I don't want the Lakers to win. I do want the Lakers to win.
No. You said what you said a little while ago. You said what you said, damn it. But listen.
Hey, but I still root for the Lakers. Calm down.
I honestly, realistically think that the Stars might be in trouble. Truly. Yeah. Truly. The Kraken literally, like last year, they didn't make the playoffs in their inaugural season. They didn't have a winning record in their inaugural season, but they come out this year with better players, a good goalie, a great coach over there. I think that the Kraken literally can do something in the second round against the Dallas Stars. We've seen that the Dallas Stars had a little bit of trouble in the early series with Minnesota, and the Kraken just went on a 7-game series against one of the top tier teams in the defending champions of Colorado. So I mean, if you got the Kraken that literally just dethroned the defending Stanley Cup champions, I really do think that the Stars have trouble going up against the Kraken. But don't get me wrong, Jay. I'm gonna stick behind your Stars.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Don't forget Ottinger, the goalie for the Stars. That dude is playing lights to freak out. Wow. But I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from, Frank. Because the only thing I don't understand, because they were the defending champs. So I don't want to diminish that by any means. But again, Dustin, I think you probably have a better feel on hockey than the two of us do. How do you see that series playing out?
I compare the Kraken to kind of the Vegas Golden Knights the year the Vegas Golden Knights went to the Stanley Cup Finals, just because they were an expansion team that came into the league. They were allowed to take one or two players from the rest of the league, and then they drafted well, and they ended up getting hot the entire second half of the year and took it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Granted, the Kraken didn't make the playoffs last year, but they still had a solid foundation last year, and they were in the playoff hunt a good chunk of the season last year up until March. So it's not like they were a bottom feeder team last year. They just had a year where they kind of felt their own in the NHL last year, and this year they turned it on. And like to Frankie's point, you just won 7 games with the Stanley Cup champions from last year and eliminated them. So at this point, you're kind of playing with house money because you had such an emotional high by winning that series. It could also affect you against the Dallas Stars too, because you are coming off of such an emotional high. And I don't know if they can play up to the level they played against Colorado, just because it took so much for them to knock Colorado off that it might kind of set them back a little bit. I think the Stars are going to win the series in 6, just because I think Seattle's going to struggle those first 2 games trying to get that same level of energy that they had against Colorado.
Yeah, I think either way, I really believe that we're going to be in for a good series, no matter what. I like how Dallas played Minnesota. Minnesota came out physical. I think Dallas matched their physical attitude. They if you watch that, Minnesota had a lot more shots on goal than what the Stars did, but the Stars took advantage of their power plays. They took advantage of their time in the box, or putting the other team in the box. So I just think Dallas is, and their goalie had a hell of a lot of saves. I just think defensively, I think Dallas is just going to come out ready to go. And if they can get that offense to match that defense, I think they're going to do just fine. But again, we took care of the Wild in 6 games, and I do think it's going to be a tough series. But like you said, and I'm not just saying because I'm a fan, I'm saying it because I really think that Dallas is going to come out more physical than the Kraken, and I think you're right. I think they are riding that high off beating the champions, and I think we're going to take that series.
Look, we're still learning.
The difference with the Kraken too are the Kraken aren't a physical team. The Kraken are a lot quicker than what Minnesota was because they don't play as physical as Minnesota does. They play more of that open ice style that the Carolina Hurricanes play, like the Tampa Bay Lightning play, where they just like to get out and try to outscore you every single game. And I kind of think that plays in the Dallas hands. Right. Dallas has the same kind of firepower to match that.
I'll tell you, if there was one team in the league, and again, Vegas is obviously a damn good team, but I think one of the teams I think is really good this year is the Hurricanes. I think that Hurricanes team is pretty damn. I'm going to say it.
Listen, you have your theory on thinking that, I can't tell you that you're wrong. I'm just I just blurted out no because we're me and you are watching it for the first time, Jay. Like we're watching hockey for the first time ever and trying to become fan. That's why I'm not more upset of the Bruins loss than all actual Bruin fans truly are, because it's my first time watching it and learning. They had a fantastic year, an awesome historic season, a bad ending, to it. But it doesn't bother me more than what it would the Patriots or the Lakers or something like that will be. But the one team that comes out to mind, and you guys can go ahead and tell me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm learning more on hockey, but the one team that's coming to mind right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking phenomenal. The Toronto Maple Leafs just took out the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that literally just recently won 2, correct me if I'm wrong, stat guy, 2 or 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, they were in the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row, and they won 2 of them.
They won 2 of them.
Yeah, look at that. So when you got a team that's Toronto, a team that hasn't won a playoff series since the early 2000s, come out and beat a team that just recently went to 3 Stanley Cups and won 2 of them out of the 3 years, that's telling you something with Toronto. And I feel like Toronto has something against them. Now they have to go up against a team that just eliminated the Bruins. And mind you, I've watched that entire series between the Bruins and Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers play one hell of a good defense. And I feel like if Florida continue going in that route with Toronto, we're gonna have another Game 7 in this round between Toronto and Florida, because both of those teams are just phenomenal right now.
And what you just said about Toronto, Frankie, you're exactly right. The Maple Leafs finished the year with 111 points. And typically 111 points would get you the number 1 seed in a conference. But because of the year that Boston had, the 111 points is not even going to be talked about at all. Toronto had the second best record in the NHL. And the only team better than Toronto was Boston. So Toronto is no slouch. And now that they beat Tampa Bay, they ended a long playoff series drought where they have not won a playoff series since 2004. Now that monkey is off of their back, now they have the confidence. Now they know that they are the top seed in the Eastern Conference the rest of the way. They have home ice the rest of the way up until the Stanley Cup Finals. And even if they get to the Stanley Cup Finals, they have home ice the rest of the way through because Boston's out.
Who has home ice in the West?
Colorado had home ice in the West until they lost. Now it's the Stars.
Right. Because I thought we were right up there as one of the teams that was close to having home.
Yeah, you were 1 point behind Colorado when the year ended. So now you have home ice the rest of the way in the West up until the Stanley Cup Final. And if Toronto does not make it, then the Stars would have home ice the rest of the way because there's nobody else in the Eastern Conference with more than 98 points.
So I did Toronto to get their ass whooped. Okay, question: Who is your Stanley Cup favorites? Like who do you think is your favorite to win it?
Oh, is this for anybody, or did you ask somebody?
No, that was to Dustin because, like I said, Dustin has the most experience. So I was just asking the guy with the most experience who his favorite is to win the Stanley Cup.
At this point, I would have to say whoever wins that Florida-Toronto series. Because if Florida can go through not only Boston, but go through Toronto also and knock off two teams that have the two best records in the NHL, you cannot overlook Florida at this point anymore. And the same thing with Toronto. Now that they've gotten that long playoff drought off their back, I think they're going to be playing a lot more looser than they have in the past, and a loose Toronto team can be a scary team.
So either way, though, you had the winner of the Stanley Cup going to one of those two teams in the East.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are valid reasons. Again, those are valid reasons. I was just curious. I hope the Stars beat the shit out of all of them.
I do think though it's going to be an all Canada Stanley Cup though.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Because I think Edmonton's going to come out of.
I'm about to say, so you got Edmonton and Toronto.
Yeah.
I know my dad is saying that Snoop Dogg is trying to buy the Senate.
Yeah, I saw that.
For real?
Yeah.
Since when the hell Snoop Dogg trying to get into hockey?
Hey, listen.
He's a season ticket holder for the Kings.
He got Snoop Dogg money.
What the hell? Snoop Dogg's a huge LA guy. He might as well freaking put some money into the Lakers.
Exactly. I'm surprised he didn't try to get a minority stake in the Kings or something.
Kings won't give him a minority stake.
It's that guy. I think Vegas has home ice in the West.
Yeah, I saw that now. I just looked at the Vegas thing on the thing. Vegas has home ice by 2 points over Dallas.
I think the team.
I forgot Vegas got through in the first round.
And
Hey, that means all I gotta do is beat Vegas, and I'm good. It's not a big deal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, it's that guy. But the team that has home ice in the East, don't that go to Carolina? Because Carolina Hurricanes were like second best in hockey, if I'm not mistaken. They were like right behind the Bruins for total wins and points. I think last time I saw it before the playoffs started, it went like Bruins, Carolina, New Jersey, and then I don't know who went from there.
Yeah, but Carolina got eliminated though.
No, Carolina moved on, didn't they? Carolina Hurricanes.
Or are they waiting the winner? Are they waiting the winner of New Jersey and New York?
Yeah, they're waiting for whoever wins that one.
Yeah. So yeah, Carolina then. I only was looking at the schedule because I just pulled up the schedule for the upcoming playoffs. I forgot New York and New Jersey have a game 7 tonight.
Yeah, man, and that just tells you, man. And you know what? This is why I wanted to get into hockey. And me and Jay, Jay, Logan, this is why we wanted to get into hockey, because anything is possible in hockey. Hockey's not like baseball or football or anything like that. Like, you can have a team with a shitty record and low average points end up beating one of the best teams in hockey. Like, that's crazy about freaking hockey. Is like, since when have we sat here, or I shouldn't say when have we sat here, because this is the first time we're actually talking about hockey and shit like that. But stat guy, to your knowledge, when was the last time you sat here and just realized, like, damn, in the first round we had to deal with 3 game 7s in hockey?
I can't remember the last time it happened, and this is exactly why I like the way hockey's format is as opposed to every other sport. Like, every other sport, you go based off of wins and losses, and whoever's got the best records get through. Hockey, yes, you go off of wins and losses, but they also go off the point system. So you have wins are 3 points and ties are 1 point, and I think that makes things a lot more interesting, because if you look, I'll take the NBA, for example, because they play the same amount of games as the NHL does. You could have a team that was 40-42, but 10 of those losses would have been overtime losses. If they would go with the point system, you give that team the 2 points for the wins, which are 80 points, and then the 10 points for the ties, that's 90 points. All of a sudden, a team that may have missed the playoffs at 40-42 is now getting the playoffs as a 4 and 5 seed. And that's kind of why I like the whole. I know not every sport can do the point system. Soccer and hockey are the only two that I think realistically can. But just going off of that point system, I think makes things more interesting because teams stay alive in the playoff hunt longer because of it. Because every tie you gets you a point. So you might not have a lot of wins, but if you're banking a lot of ties, you're still getting
You're almost like banking wins.
Yeah, you're still banking points towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I really like that point differential. Like Dustin said, like most sports worry about win and losses, but when it comes to hockey, man, it's straight up with points, and I kind of like that. Like, what's Glenn say?
He said, "Did you have trouble sleeping last night? Did you have nightmares of Panthers looking at you?"
No.
I can tell you one thing.
After the medibles, he did.
I can tell you one thing though: the Bruins coach is having nightmares by switching goalies in Game 5.
I think. I mean, I seen that too, and I seen that too. Glenn, for one, let me answer Glenn real quick. Glenn, if you wasn't here in the beginning of the show, this is my first year into hockey, so like I really don't give two shits. Like I said, they had a really good season, a historic season, a really bad ending. But I'm not gonna sit here and cry like all the actual true 100% Bruin fans that like literally cared about it and truly had nightmares. Me, no, I'm good. I'm chilling. Like Jay said, I was high as hell last night. I mean, it didn't bother me.
You might have saw Panthers, but it was not for that reason.
Yeah, no, it definitely was not for that reason at all.
I came out of the wrestling show I was doing production for last night, and I turned the radio on so I could catch up on some of the sports. That was the first thing I heard was that the Bruins got upset. I was like, damn, I wouldn't expect that.
Bro. And Frankie was on there saying he was on there. I don't care about the Bruins. And then they get a goal and they tie it up. And then you see Frank come on and say, goal. And I'm like, and this motherfucker says he don't care. Shut up.
I don't care. See, and this is where Jay gets like, he doesn't read some messages. And you should know me by now, Jay. You should know me by now. Who's the first person?
You care. You're too competitive not to care.
Jay, I don't care. I care less than like Dustin would with hockey. I care less than what Nate would with hockey. And you should know that. I already told everybody yesterday. It has to get me like, I have to go at least 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years to actually fully care about hockey. This is my inaugural season. This is my inaugural time. So I really don't care. Like I said, they had a historic season. It was great.
The Bruins really did, honestly.
I think that was
crazy.
I think that was the ultimate downfall of the Bruins too. They had such a historic season that they never faced any adversity during the regular season. The first time that they legitimately faced adversity was in this playoff series, and they didn't know how to handle it because they didn't have to face it during the regular season.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dustin. I saw something that in the regular season, the Bruins itself were also having tough time against Florida in the regular season.
Yeah, they lost. See if I can pull it up. So I think they only lost back-to-back games one time during the regular season.
Hey, Frankie.
When you go 65-12, you're not going to be losing back-to-back games that often, anyways. But I think the Panthers were 3-1 against Boston during the regular season.
I love hypocrisy, Joe. Tell him hypocrisy. Tell him.
Yeah, I think
Glenn says, Frankie, you'll be okay.
I know I'll be okay. You want to know why? Because my Lakers are still in it. Weren't you the one, Glenn, talking shit about my Lakers being eliminated by Memphis? But now you found out that I'm a Bruins fan. You think attacking me with the Bruins is gonna hurt me? No, sir. No, sir.
Hey, Dustin, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're on the show today because I did want to ask, and I haven't had the opportunity to ask.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the show a lot more now because I'm off of nights finally.
Hey, you want to be quiet so I can ask you a damn question? Shut your mouth. Now, hold on. He knows I'm playing. Hey, listen. So the Rockets just brought in Udoka, and I've asked everybody else. Hold on. Let me ask you this: the Rockets, they've kind of been a little bit of here, a little bit of there. What do you think? Do you think Udoka was the better hire versus Nick Nurse? Like which one? Because I think both of them, like we all agree, was a good hire. But which one do you think was a better hire for them guys?
I honestly think Nick Nurse was a better hire for Houston because Houston is in a very similar situation to what Toronto was when he took over. Toronto was kind of one of those franchises that they were a little better off because they were just coming off of a playoff berth with Dwayne Casey, but they were about to enter a full-scale rebuild mode. So they brought in Nick Nurse, and it took him 2 or 3 years to get the Raptors back to the playoffs, but he was able to incorporate a lot of young talents, trade some pieces away, and then he went out and got guys like Kawhi Leonard to kind of get those final pieces to put that team together versus Udoka was handed a very good team in Boston. And no one's going to say he wasn't handed a good team in Boston because Brad Stevens put together that team. They made the playoffs every season. Brad Stevens was the head coach. Granted, they never won the championship, but they still made the playoffs every year that Brad Stevens was there. So it's not like Udoka was walking into a difficult situation. Now you have a guy
that sounds a lot like Golden State Warriors, where Mark Jackson built a team, but then Steve Kerr took it over.
It does, but Steve Kerr took it to the next level, though.
Well, he did.
Udoka's going to struggle in his first 2 years in Houston. And granted, I honestly think Houston could have a worse record next year than they did this year. And that's just because I think that team is going to struggle buying into Udoka's system right away. Because Houston's been such an offensive-minded team the last couple of years, Udoka's a defensive-first guy. So can he get these young players to buy in on the defensive side of things first and then worry about the offense off of the defense? And if not, I think it's going to be a long year for Houston next year. But by the time you get to year 2 and year 3, I think that's when you start to see Houston turn the corner a little bit. I just think they may have had better short-term success with Nurse as opposed to better long-term success with Udoka.
And one of the things I think that they were really trying to sell Udoka on was the fact that they have a good core of talented players, raw but talented, and then they have they have cap space available, and then they have, should have a pretty good standing in the lottery. I think that's what they were trying to sell him on. But you think that Nick Nurse would have done a better job had
you got to remember
over Udoka over through the rebuilding process.
How many free agents are actually going to want to sign with Houston, knowing what Udoka did in Boston?
Fuck free agents. He's going to get Victor.
I mean, that's true, though. That's true. But that's true. I mean, hopefully Udoka can.
I think obviously some free agents are going to sign there if that's all they can get. But when it comes to getting like the high prize free agents, like I think DeMar DeRozan can opt out after this year if he wants to. But guys like Kobe White, guys like Vucevic, guys like I think Jamal Murray's even a free agent in Denver this year. Any of those players, I don't see any of them wanting to go to Houston just because of what Udoka did in Boston. I think he's really going to have to work his magic and pull some strings trying to get a lot of these people to buy into him and buy into him not making that same mistake again.
So you're basically saying that what he did in that front office, that reputation is going to hurt him.
What did he do wrong in Boston besides sleep with another woman?
So I don't think that's going to affect him. Affect
I do because it was against Boston's policy to do what he did. He didn't actually do anything.
I'm pretty sure it's against Memphis policy for John Morant to go on Instagram flashing a gun, but he did it anyway.
I'm pretty sure it's against policy for Dylan Brooks to go ahead and talk trash to LeBron James about his age and then not show up the rest of the playoffs. But he did anyway, right?
Damn, coach, damn.
Yeah,
but I do understand, Dustin. I do understand where you're coming from on the whole reputation side of things. I get what you're saying. I hope that's not the case. I hope that his reputation doesn't precede him. But we'll see.
Frankie,
I'm just bringing that up for Houston. I only asked that question because Houston, is pretty much in the garbage dumps right now. We got talent, but we're in the garbage dumps, and I just think it's going to take the right coach to get us out of the garbage dumps. And that's why I was just curious as if Nurse was a better option over Udoka to get them going in the upward motion.
All right, you're still in the garbage dump. All right, whatever. Stat guy,
hey, hush your mouth.
Yeah,
hush your mouth,
Frankie, to your point, Florida was 2-2 against Boston this year. 2 of those 4 games went into overtime, and then they ended up winning those last 3 in a row against Boston in the playoffs. So Florida did give Boston fits.
Yeah, what gets me with Florida is that they have a really good coach, and if I saw it correctly, they had the same coach for over 20 years or 25 years.
Oh, I don't think so.
Or did it just say that the man has been coaching?
Yeah, he's been coaching
years?
for Paul Maurice has been coaching for 25 years. I mean, he's 56 years old, so he was one of the youngest coaches when he took over, but in terms of how long he's been in Florida. He hasn't been there that long. He got to Florida. Actually, this was his first year in Florida.
Yeah,
He was with the
good coach.
Winnipeg Jets the last 8 years in Winnipeg.
That guy's a really good coach, honestly. Like, and you know what? I give it to him because before Game 1 started in this series, he came out and he said, "We're gonna play aggressive. We're gonna play tough. We're gonna, you know, everybody's looking at us like we're gonna get eliminated quickly. Like, and that's what you need to do. You need to, you know, if you're a coach and you're going up against one of the best teams in any sport, you need to go out there and say, listen, we're gonna play tough. We're gonna play aggressive. We're gonna stop these guys. This is what we're gonna do. Like, and he backed it up. These guys were down 3-1. And their defense turned up to another level to force a Game 7 like that. Hockey's different, man. Hockey's really different. I really got into it, and I can't wait for next season, man. I really can't.
And to his credit, too,
I mean, most
Florida-
losers probably are waiting for next season. Winners are still waiting on this season, but I don't know. I don't speak loser.
well, to Florida's credit, too, though, and this is a credit to Paul Maurice and kind of what he preached to his team before that series started, Florida was the first team that actually went into Boston and was not intimidated. They didn't look at Boston's regular season record and think, oh, we're just going to get our asses kicked because they just did what they did in the regular season. They were the first and probably the only team that went into Boston thinking that they could beat Boston.
Yeah.
And that's a big statement because Boston, that's a nasty team. I mean, they were freaking formidable. So I get what you're saying on that. I mean, it's hard to go into a situation, you know, where a team is playing just that good.
But
And you're not being intimidated.
what makes it even that much more impressive is 3 of their 4 wins came on Boston's home ice.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Because they were down in that, they split the first
Yeah.
two. They split the first 2 1-1, and then they lost both games at Florida to go down 3-1, and then they won Game 5 in Boston, Game 6 in Florida, then Game 7 in Boston. So they won 3 of the 4 games played in Boston.
And they played at least 3 overtime games in that series.
Well, I hope what y'all are predicting isn't true with Canada taking the Stanley Cup. I'd like to keep it, if nothing else, I'd like to keep it in the United States. But
I would too, but honestly, though, it would be cool to see an all Canada Stanley Cup.
No, it would not. No,
Well,
not from
Jay-
not from a
Jay,
true American
stop.
standpoint.
Jay,
If you're an
stop.
American, you don't want that.
Jay, stop. All right, you don't know a lot about hockey, kind of like me.
I don't
Stop
know a lot
being
about
so-
hockey, but I know a lot about
being-
being American.
Stop being
America!
Stop
America!
being so freaking. Stop being such a hardcore fan behind your teams. All right, this is your first year.
My
Shut
team.
your mouth.
It could be the
Shut up.
Hurricanes and the Oilers, as long as the Hurricanes won.
Shut your mouth.
America.
You keep forgetting that hockey came from the freaking place of Canada. All right, and besides, let Toronto.
Okay, so I'm
listen,
going to pay in the MLB.
Toronto. Damn, bro. You done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
Totally done.
Toronto has had a long drought. Look, they just won their first series since 2004. Dustin, please tell me when was the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup?
Oh, God, 1950s. I'll look it up. It's been a long time.
Look at that. A long time. It was to the point-
Edmonton. I think Edmonton won it in the late 80s or early 90s when they had Wayne Gretzky. But outside of that, it's been forever since. I'll even look it up when the last Canadian team won the Stanley Cup.
It's because it's America.
No, it's just because there's only 7 teams in Canada, and if you don't, 1993 was the last time a team from Canada won the Stanley Cup, and it was Montreal. So you're going on 30 years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup.
And Montreal, they're the Canadians, right? That's the name of their team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're the Montreal Americans.
Hey, America.
Listen, I hate Canadians. I hate Canadians.
I had a
more than
4x4
anyone.
that was lifted. You'd get that joke.
I hate Canadians more than anyone because I feel like I'm more closer than anybody to the Canadian border. So it's
You
like I
are.
hate them
We can ship
more
you
than
back.
anyone. I hate, bro. Can you stop interrupting people?
Maybe.
Damn, bro. Didn't we just have? Hold on, Chris. Didn't we just have a meeting a couple of weeks ago from somebody stopping a show because people kept interrupting? Do you want me to stop the show, Jay? Thank you. Sit back and shut your mouth. Holy hell. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by Jay for the 5th freaking time within 10 minutes. I'm the closest to anybody, closest to Canada more than anyone. And all I deal with is freaking Canadians, and they piss me off. But it would be actually good. It would be actually good to watch a Canadian team win a Stanley Cup for the first time in like that guy said in 30 years, because I always like to see those teams that have been on a long drought finally get their success that they've had. Now, Chris, I'm gonna have to shut your dad up for a minute with his Vegas shit. All right, I'm gonna have to shut that shit up.
I think they're called Canucks.
I'm gonna have to shut that shit up with the Vegas shit, okay? Because your dad became a Vegas fan on their inaugural year. When did that happen? When they reached the Stanley Cup in their inaugural year, they became a goddamn Vegas fan. Oh, look at them. They made the Stanley Cup their first year ever. Matter of fact, I should like them. I should like these guys. All of a sudden, he's a Vegas fan. Why can't you follow in your son's footsteps, Tony? Follow in your son's footsteps. Go to a team that's actually closer to your location if your location doesn't have a goddamn hockey team.
Yeah,
Chris,
so the last
you're
time
doing it good.
the last time the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup was in 1966, and the last time Edmonton won it was in 1989 with Wayne Gretzky. So It's been a long time since each of those teams have made it to the Stanley Cup, let alone won it. That's why I think it would be cool to see two Canadian teams play for the Stanley Cup, because we think of hockey as we think of it here. Hockey in Canada is completely different. And if those two teams meet in the Stanley Cup, you're going to see crowds that Americans could only dream of having for a Stanley Cup final.
Stat guy, can you tell me? I know obviously Wayne Gretzky played a lot of the Canadian teams. What American teams did he play for? The Rangers? Or am I wrong? I'm trying. I know there was another. Or is it all Canadian teams?
No, he played for the Kings.
Played for the Kings.
The Kings. Okay.
He spent his first 9 years with the Oilers and then his last 11 years with the Kings.
Okay.
And then he played.
I didn't realize the Kings. I didn't realize he played for the.
And then he played 1 year with the Blues and 1 year with the Rangers. But that was like at the end of his career when he played with the Rangers.
So he did have 1 year with the Rangers, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I saw him at. Again, you have to excuse my ignorance. Me and Frankie, like I said, we're new to this, and so we're still learning. But yeah.
Bro, it's to the point where me and Jay don't even fucking say last names. Excuse my language, but we don't even say last names. We just call them by their jersey numbers.
Bro,
it's like weird.
That's what. Hey, Dustin, me and Frank were saying, yo, if we were like hockey commentators, it would sound something like this. Number 6 passes to number 4. Number 4 goes to number 7. Number 7 puts shot on goalie. Number 0 blocks said punt. That's what it would sound like.
Well, you can't pronounce
that shit.
Well, you can't pronounce the name. You can't pronounce the names Svechnikov and Igor Svechnikov.
Bro, could you? Okay, number 1, Igor Svechnikov probably sounds like it's got 30 damn letters. By the time I even said his number or his name, 3 other guys have probably touched the puck.
You guys do a commentary, be like that commercial that I can't think of the NBA player's name now. The big guy,
the 7'8" guy, he bounces it. He bounces it. He bounces it. He bounces it.
I'll be like, excuse me. How do I say a man's name when he's got 3 consonants before he ever sees a vowel? So is it the first consonant and the second 2 consonants are silent and then I say the vowel? Because if so, we're wasting letters.
I feel like the only person in the Bruins name that I can actually get right is like Hallmark or freaking Bergeron. That's it. Everybody else is like, what the hell is his name? Like what?
Hey, it could.
I can say right now, 3 talented players is Suter, Marchment, and Ottinger. You know how I can say that? Because they sound like normal names.
Hey, Jay, if you go, remember the Atlanta Thrashers hockey team?
I do remember that. Matter of fact, there's a hockey team. Logan was telling me there's a hockey team getting ready to come back to Atlanta.
They had the longest last name in NHL history. Their backup goalie's name was Jordan Lavelle Forsbacka Smotherman.
What?
You're right.
They fit that on the jersey?
They put his name on the back of the jersey. It had Lavelle Forsbacka on top, and then underneath it had Smotherman.
You know what? When you said the name, I swear to God, the only thing that came into my mind was that the last name had to be in a full circle around his number. Like, I swear to God, it had to be a full circle around his number for his name. Like, how the hell does that fit under a jersey?
Hey,
Different font.
You know you get a long name when they just give you initials.
Seriously.
Jordan Lavelle forced Baca Smotherman.
Yeah, could you imagine putting that on the Scantron when you were in high school?
Can you imagine trying to pronounce that as an announcer and trying to get that in really quick?
I'd be like,
Well,
no. That's why I
Me
gave
and
either
Jay
a
making
jersey
nicknames.
number or a first name. Jersey
we're
number
making
or first name.
Or we're making nicknames for them. That's it. There's going to be fans going around the world saying, well, this is his new nickname because of these announcers. Like, yep, we're giving them new nicknames. Hey, yo, Chris, you know this dude, right? You know this Jones guy, right? You know him outside of podcasts.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's his hockey team? Because he thinks that I'm such a freaking hardcore hockey fan and I'm still heard about it. What's his hockey team?
I have no clue what his hockey team is.
Look at that. Hold on. So let me get this right. Hold on. You're friends with this guy outside of podcasting, and you don't even know your own friend's hockey team?
Damn,
God,
what a loser. What a loser.
Right? He must be a real
we don't
hockey
talk-
fan.
We don't talk hockey.
So
Hypocrisy
hold on.
Jones,
Hold on.
put your
He's-
hockey team in the comments.
He's making it worse for Hypocrisy Jones because he just said they don't
Oh,
talk
well,
hockey. So why is he?
Yeah, I don't watch hockey. So when me and Jones do talk, we don't talk hockey. I don't know if he watches hockey.
So why is he
We
got the
talk
nerve
a lot
to
of
come on
wrestling.
here? So why has he got the nerve to come on here and try and talk hockey if he doesn't talk hockey? That makes no sense.
He might talk hockey. I just don't talk hockey with him.
I would like to know his hockey.
Hey, you know what I would like to see? Hypocrisy Jones, Frankie C in the octagon slapping each other. Silly.
He's not ready for it. He'll get Frankie the Yankee. He's not ready for it.
Oh, damn. He said, Hypocrisy Jones says he's not a hockey guy. So basically he's saying, yo, Frankie, I don't have a hockey team because I don't even know hockey.
Wow. Okay. So you know what? You remind me of Tony.
You don't even
Tony doesn't watch basketball, and yet he still likes to talk trash about everybody's other team. So it's to the point where it's like, bro, why do you even mention? Why are you even saying something if you're not even a fan? Like, you just make yourself look more dumb.
You don't even need to talk hockey to know who the best hockey players in the world are.
That's true.
Like you have Connor McDavid, you have
Messier,
Alexander Ovechkin, Leon Draisaitl.
Who are those guys?
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are on Edmonton, and then Alexander Ovechkin.
Dustin, let me say something real quick. And this is how I know who the best players are in the world. You're a hockey guy, no doubt about it. You can say all these names that nobody could pronounce, no doubt. But you know damn good and well, if somebody like me or somebody like Frankie can tell you the name of Messier, maybe Gretzky, things like that, those are who we consider the greatest in the world are, because you're talking about people who have no earthly idea anything about hockey, but we know those names.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And Alexander Ovechkin is really going to be the only one that theoretically has a shot to dethrone Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, hold on. Hey, Hypocrisy Jones, we love you, man. Don't take that stuff personal.
No. Did I hit a spot? Did I hit a spot? Is that what happened? I hit a spot on you? You got butthurt that I called you a non-hockey fan and shit like that, and why are you talking? So I hit a spot on you? Oh, poor baby. Oh. You're an asshole. I'm the asshole. Poor baby. Oh, you should go to Tony. You should go to Chris's house later and cry about it.
So
Frankie, be nice.
So in the span of 20 years, Wayne Gretzky had 894 goals.
But Dustin, can you see my point though?
No, but I'm just saying though, like Alexander Ovechkin right now is at 822.
Right.
And he's got 3 years left on his contract, which means if he averages 25 goals a season for the final 3 years of his contract, he's going to pass Wayne Gretzky.
But let me ask you this, Dustin. Let me ask you this, and I have no doubt this guy's going to pass Gretzky. I have no doubt that this guy's amazing. My thing is for like young guys trying to get into the world of hockey, young guys trying to get into hockey, or people just in general. I think hockey has a hard time attracting fans, not because it's a great sport, because it's a great sport, but I think sometimes maybe their marketing and they're like Major League Baseball.
Not
MLB is the
necessarily.
same thing. But they're not, because like I said, from a guy who's just getting into the sport, I can tell you 2 hockey names that I just, I've heard outside in the realm. You know what I'm saying?
The problem with the NHL is they don't have a standalone channel to market their product. They just re-signed with ESPN last year after being off of ESPN for like 13 or 14 years. But the problem is they're competing with college basketball and the NBA on ESPN. People are going to gravitate more towards college basketball and more towards the NBA than watching the NHL on ESPN. When the NHL was on NBC Sports Network before they decided to change that channel and do whatever the hell they did with that channel, that was the NHL's outlet to promote their product. And realistically, if the NHL wants a standalone channel to basically market their product and try to draw more fans to it, they never should have left NBC. They should have made NBC their primary channel, and then they could have filtered it through to like Peacock. They could have filtered it through to USA and TNT, the other channels that NBC is kind of linked to, which gives NHL their own standard market. And then the NBA could have focused on ABC, ESPN, and TNT, and that would have got the viewership up. And I think that was it was good that the NHL went back to ESPN, but at the same time, it kind of hurts them too because they're competing with basketball the same exact time frame as their season goes on.
Let me ask you a question, Dustin. Do you think because there is so much of a European influence in hockey, and you obviously know that because obviously all the names are like hard as hell to pronounce. It's either Polish or German or Russian or what have you. Do you think that maybe makes it hard for people to get into hockey in terms of supporting their players? Because it's hard to go around saying, and I can't even say that guy's last name you just said a minute ago, that goal that had like 3 last names. Do you find it hard? Because I can say Jordan, I can say Braun, I can say that. It's hard to say Lomanowski or whatever. I mean, like, do you think that maybe their names make it hard for people to, get into it? You know what I mean?
It is and it isn't, because you have to look at the soccer world too. I know not you guys really aren't big MLS fans, and I follow soccer a lot, but the MLS is the same way, where 90% of the most talented players in the Major League Soccer are from overseas. I mean, last year you had Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was probably the most popular player in America, and then he went back overseas last year. They've had David Beckham here, which obviously everyone knows who David Beckham is.
Right.
So many of these European players that are coming from playing soccer in Europe to coming here because the money's better here.
But so why is it so hard for Americans, though, to crack it, or just say more American? Why is it so hard for America and our last names to get into hockey like Smith or whoever? Why can't we get more into the hockey realm like that versus the European side of it?
Realistically, how many states in the United States can you play hockey year-round?
And that's true. You're really only looking at the North.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like Canada, yes, they can play hockey year-round because you go way up into the Yukon territory, snows there 12 months out of the damn year. But like up north, yes, you still have summer in Wisconsin, you still have summer in Minnesota and Montana and all these other places. But summer for them is like 3 months, and then it's already frozen over at the end of September, where you can start playing hockey sooner. You don't have that option in Florida. You don't have that option in Arizona, Texas, and so on and so forth. And then you go to Europe. Just because of all the mountains in Europe, you're always going to have snow and ice somewhere where you can start playing hockey whenever you want to.
And that's what makes it hard for us, because not everybody can build an ice rink. I mean, ice rinks, they're incredibly expensive. I could go out to any dirt farm and build a baseball field easily, or football or soccer or whatever. But I think because ice hockey requires a certain type of surface, you're right. I think it makes it extremely hard for America to really get into the sport of hockey because of the limited access to ice. What a time to be alive. But yeah, amen. Amen. By the way, if y'all have not seen, and I haven't seen it yet, but my parents were telling me that George Foreman movie that just came out, they said it's pretty freaking amazing. They said George Foreman, the whole story of him, if you're into boxing, it's a really good thing to go see.
Yeah, I figured it'd be pretty good. What are you guys thinking about the NBA playoff games we have tonight? 76ers and Celtics, Suns and Nuggets. Looks like Embiid's going to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how is that going to look? Like you said, Embiid is most likely going to be out for this game one. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. But I think Tobias Harris has done a good job. I think Harden is kind of doing better than what he has done in the playoffs in terms of being consistent. Maxi's done a pretty good job. Can they compete with the likes of a Tatum, and Brown connection where they're giving you, almost 60 points between the two of them? It's good, and it is in Boston, game 1s and 2s. So I think Philly's going to have a hard time. I think they're definitely going to have Embiid back by game 2 if they want to at least split the series and go back to Philly.
I think
if
Doc
Rivers
Rivers
by
wants
game
this.
2, then I'm calling it right now. It's going to be Boston, done and over.
I think Doc Rivers wants this game so bad. Like, he's been eliminated by Boston so much that he feels like he really needs this and wants this.
Right.
But I do agree.
I agree.
But I do agree with what Jay said, though. Like, everybody has stepped up for Philly, but I don't think it's just enough to not have Embiid against a Boston Celtics team who are right now currently the best team left in the NBA in the playoffs. I mean, look what they did with Atlanta. But Atlanta's a whole different squad compared to the Philadelphia 76ers. But you minus the 76ers without Joel, you can basically say the 76ers are kind of like the Hawks without Joel. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good series.
And like the thing with this series is these two teams are so familiar with each other because they play each other 4 times a year. It's not going to matter if Embiid plays or not because Boston's going to know exactly what Philly does well and what they don't do well, and same thing that Philadelphia's going to know exactly what Boston does well and what they don't do well. And in a series like this, you have to give the team that has home court the advantage, the nod, and unless Philly can find a way to get one of those games in Boston, you have to look at Boston as the favorite because they're going to get 4 games at home if they go the full distance.
Yeah, excuse me. I like Boston. I think it's going to be hard for the Sixers to beat Boston with a healthy Embiid, let alone it not having him, or if he does play, not being at full strength.
Regardless who
Boston
wins,
has a little bit too much.
regardless who wins this series, though, if none of these teams can figure out how to stop Jimmy Butler at this point, I think Miami's going to the finals.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But again, I think to Frankie.
I think
sorry,
the Knicks
Frankie, go
beat
ahead.
Miami.
Yeah.
He had an
Yeah,
off
I
against the Knicks the other day, and Miami still won.
That's one game. There's still 6 more games.
No, but I think more importantly, it's what Frankie was saying earlier, where
And I don't see Miami being. Miami don't have enough depth to me. Yeah, Jimmy Butler was able to get him through that first round, but I don't think they beat. If they do beat the Knicks, they don't beat the Celtics with just Jimmy Butler.
Tyler Herro would be back for the Celtics.
Ooh, that scares me a whole lot.
I know, right?
But you got to remember though, Miami does
Herro can play well.
Miami
Don't
does
Herro like that.
If you go look at last year, even Miami had the deepest team in the NBA. They had the best scoring bench in the NBA last year. And that's ultimately why they finished so low in the standings this year, was because a lot of their bench players were hurt a good portion of the season this year, and they finally started to get healthy that final month of the season. Now everyone has that established role on the team. Now they're getting back to that style of basketball they played where the bench is contributing almost as much as the starting rotation is. And when they get that kind of production from the bench, Miami's a top 3 team in the East. When
Their bench produced one game yesterday. Their bench didn't produce it in the first series.
The first 4 games they did. The last 3 games Jimmy Butler took over. If you look at the 2 games that Miami won to make that series, 2 games to 1, Miami's bench was producing almost as much as that starting lineup was, because they had guys like Duncan Robinson, who was non-existent during the regular season. All of a sudden, he started to remember how to shoot 3-pointers. You had guys like Gary Vincent coming off the bench making big shots. You had Max Strus was making big shots, even though he's in the starting lineup now. He only went into the starting lineup because Tyler Herro got hurt. So a lot of those bench players started to pick on bigger roles against the Bucks, and they started to look like that team of last year that was a top 3 seed.
Hey, real quick, Snack Guy, when is Herro expected back?
He's out 4 to 6 weeks, so he would be back for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay. Hold on. Let me say this real quick. If Butler can play through the pain of that sprained ankle, because that really is the big thing. can't because and Frankie, I know you said it, and I know Gonzo said it. How effective will he be with that ankle? If he can still be effective, and hopefully that ankle won't be. Maybe they can give him some steroids. I don't know, but if he can play through that and be effective, I do think Miami can get past New York. I really, honestly do. Now, Adebayo, you got to step up. You can't let some little guy push you out of the paint. You got to step up and play your role, jabroni. But if that can happen, I do think Miami gets past New York. Now, come Celtic time, they're going to need Hero. They need that guy that can hit that three-pointer at random at any time in order if they want to have a chance against the Celtics. But just like AR-15 did for LA, Hero does the same thing for Miami. So don't discount Hero and don't discount Miami so easily because they've proven that they have the heart of a champion. They just got to go out there and knock it out, and they really need Jimmy to beat Jimmy. And if Jimmy can beat Jimmy, I'm not going to discount them that easily. I'm not saying that they're going to win it, but I'm not going to write them off so easily either. I'm going to say it's going to be a challenge.
Can I
And
say
the other
something?
thing is,
Oh, go ahead.
the other
go
thing
ahead,
is,
go ahead.
yeah, the other thing is too. No matter what Miami does, Eric Spoelstra is still the most disrespected coach in the NBA.
He really is.
This guy
I
is
swear to
got to
God.
be considered
Hey,
a top 3 coach of all time at this point.
Hey, look, this only son of a bitch that can lose LeBron, Wade, Bosh, every other fucking thing in the world, but yet he still keeps Miami 100% competitive.
Like, I'm not going to
You're
put him
not
on the same
respecting
level.
Spoelstra. There's something wrong
I'm
with
not
you.
putting him on like the same level as Phil Jackson and Larry
Oh, we're not
Brown
putting
and
that
some of these
level.
other coaches.
Right.
But if you look at this, obviously everyone's going to say the best active coach right now is Greg Popovich because of what Popovich has done the last 27, 28 years. You have to consider.
Let's just truly be honest. Red Auerbach was the number 1 coach.
Yeah.
Then Phil Jackson overtook him at 11. Do you really honestly think anybody, especially with the game of basketball is played in today's world, that anybody is ever going to eclipse 11 championships?
No.
You're not going to see another Phil Jackson.
But you have to say
You're not going to see another Red Auerbach. You'll see some good coaching, but you're never going to see the likes of those guys. That's a done dinosaur. It's done. It's over with. They're the GOATs, and they're going to stay the GOATs.
Yeah. And you have to say, like, with Popovich still coaching, you would have to say that Spoelstra is probably the second best coach in the NBA right now.
Hey, watch this. But Stat Guy, I want to hit you with some knowledge now.
No.
Something you don't know. No, hold on. Something Stat Guy doesn't know. I'm going to give you something Stat Guy doesn't know. And I'm pretty sure he can get me on every other thing. But this is one thing he doesn't know. Stat Guy, Red Auerbach. Where, in his own words, where was the one venue he could never win? Never.
The one venue he could never win?
Exactly. He never won a game in this venue, and he's played this venue a lot before he got famous. Where was the one venue he could never win in?
And was this when he was a coach or a player?
Coach.
Houston.
I'll even give you one more hit. Number 1, he was a coach. Number 2, it was in Wisconsin. Where's the venue, and what's it called?
Was it the old Mecca?
Nope. I'll give you one more try. Oh, by the way, I'll give you one more hint. I lived 3 blocks from this venue.
Oh Christ, that one. I know. I can't even. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the damn name of the place.
It's the old Sheboygan Armory.
Yeah.
That is the one that the old Sheboygan Armory is the one venue that Red Auerbach said he could never win in. Now think about this, guys. I want you to think about this. This is the number 2 all-time winningest coach in the NBA history. This is the one venue he can never win in. 3 blocks from my house. And there's a big-ass plaque that will tell you outside. Red Auerbach's quote, I can never win here. Fucking amazing history. Oh, by the way, Gonzo, you guys played the Philadelphia Phillies in Sheboygan. You may not know that. Cincinnati Reds, Philadelphia Phillies played a baseball game in Sheboygan.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back on track here. I'm done with this Sheboygan shit.
No, it's not Sheboygan. That's
So
history.
Miami-
I'm not giving you history.
So Miami Heat, New York Knicks. I'm gonna agree with Gonzo. I think the Knicks are gonna win. Jimmy Butler hurt his ankle. All right, he hurt his ankle. Jay, I don't know what you're trying to get at for this guy to like try and come back on the court and play what he played at Jimmy playoffs in the first round and stuff like that. No, he hurt his ankle. He sprained his ankle. His ankle kissed the canvas. Literally, your ankle kissed the canvas. I do not expect Jimmy Butler to play the next game. And if he does, that will be the most dumbest thing ever. This series is way too early for you to even be worried about having Jimmy Butler come out there. So with you saying, throw steroids on him, that's just insane. That's crazy. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you mentioned something earlier that when I said it, you went on and you said, well, De'Aaron Fox had a broken fingertip or whatever. A broken finger is different from a hurt.
Well, it was on his shooting hand, so that does affect you.
Yeah, Tyler Herro's like in an actual freaking.
Hold on. Frankie, I don't know if you've ever played the game of basketball. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. But when it's on your fingertip and it's on your basketball shooting hand, it's hard to create the rotation the ball requires if you don't have that ability. So I understand it's not the ankle, so I understand where you're coming from on that aspect. But don't discount the shooting hand and what it takes to get the ball into the net and the mechanics that go behind it. That's another issue as well.
Yeah. You know who else had the same problem? John Morant. Yeah, he was still scoring 40 a game.
Oh, he had a broken finger? Wait. He had a fractured finger?
He had a fractured hand. A fractured hand. Not
I get it. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just okay.
He had a fractured hand. And
hey, did he win or is he still in or is he out of the playoffs?
Is De'Aaron Fox still in? It don't matter.
No, I get that. That's my point. Thank you for proving my point.
What you're saying is dumb. What you're saying
is not proving his point.
He had a broken.
I'm telling you, guys.
Jay, what's worse? Jay, what's worse? Worrying about a broken fingertip or a sprained ankle?
I think they both affect you.
No, it's the ankle's worse because even
I understand the ankle's worse, but what I'm saying is they both will affect your shot. Whether you can get up and down the court or whether you can shoot the ball. Even if I get up and down the court, it doesn't mean I can still shoot the ball.
Oh my lord!
Let
me spark.
Oh my lord!
Let me spark this blunt because every time something.
Have you ever broken your fingertip before?
Every time I have broken my finger. I have broken my finger before, and I've hurt my ankle before. And I tell you what, my ankle was worse. I had surgeries on my ankle and not my finger. So my ankle was worse. So I did have it, sir. But I just know that when Jay McLovin says something injury type or something about a certain team comes out of his mouth, it's got to be 100% right on what Jay thinks he said is right. My bad. I forgot. Let me spark my blunt.
Hold on. Have you talked to my psychologist? Because you're actually saying what he said.
Not right.
No. You're actually saying what my psychologist said. I just want to know if you talked to my psychologist because there's a hip issue.
Hypocrisy Jones. Both shooting hands are the same one.
The awesome Jay McLovin is like, well, if it's a hurt ankle, I expect him to just, shake your ankle off and go back on the court. But De'Aaron Fox hurt his fingertip and he couldn't do it. Jay, what the hell is worse, a fingertip or an ankle?
Honestly, if we're talking about pro sports, both of them can affect your playing ability. No, both of them can affect your playing ability. From a professional standpoint, yes. Okay, obviously a broke ankle is, I'm not going to say that it's not worse. That's not exactly the point I'm trying to make. The point I was trying to make was whether you have a messed up ankle or a jacked up hand on your shooting, both of them can keep you from playing at your 100% best, and both of them can keep you from advancing in the playoffs because you can't do what you normally do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, of course, an ankle, because if you can't stand, then how are you going to shoot the ball? I get that. We're not talking that. I'm just saying, all I'm trying to say is both of those can affect the way in which you play the game. And if you can't play the game in which you need to play it, then you're not going to be effective regardless of whether I can get up and down the court or shoot the ball. You're still not going to get any further down the road, right? That's all I'm saying.
These professional athletes, if you had a jammed finger or a messed up fingertip, they tape that shit. They go back on the court and their shooting doesn't even change because they taped it. If you hurt your ankle, you are done. You are done. You can't go back on the court. You're done. And I agree with you, Tony. He doesn't even know that I played basketball in my heyday. What kind of friend is Jay, right? Like, he should know that I played basketball in my early days.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got you. I got one thing. Hold on. He addressed it to me. Allow me to address it. I'll make it very, very quick. I won't take much time. Tony, I applaud your comment. I respect your comment. But what I need you to do is get up on your booster seat, Say it with your chest so I can hear you.
No, but listen. What you said about De'Aaron Fox is totally true.
By the way, Tony, I love you. You know that.
Listen, what you said about De'Aaron Fox is totally true. It affects when a person's shooting finger or shooting hand is messed up. It affects them. It totally does, and we see it. But we'd also seen that if you had a jammed finger or a messed up finger, your finger's getting taped. You're going back out there, and it looks like nothing has ever changed. We've seen that with many players with a jammed finger, many players. But can you name me one player that had a sprained ankle? You could still tape up your ankle.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. By the way, Tony, Frankie's name in basketball was Round Mound of Rebound 2.0.
You're bugging. I was actually nice in basketball, man. We used to have high school, the end of the year tournaments and stuff. I
was terrible at basketball. You know how hard it is for a white guy that's only 5'9" to be successful in the game of basketball? It was not easy. It was not easy. I always told my wife that, man. I always told my wife, I was like, because instead of doing basketball in the winter times of high school sports, I was more of doing wrestling. Like I did high school wrestling and stuff. And I tell my wife every day, I'm like, I look at the Lakers game and stuff, I'm like, damn. Like I should instead of doing wrestling, I should have just did basketball because literally I was really good and I was really good playing street basketball and end of the year field days in high school and stuff like that. I was really good. I just didn't have the mindset of joining a basketball team because I was such a wrestling guy that I just joined wrestling. See, my mom and dad knew one thing in my life. They knew one thing. Number one, Jay has a lot of anger issues. And number two, Jay is ADHD. Anger, ADHD. What sport would best suitify Jay? Linebacker, football. You can go out there and beat the hell out of anybody. And you know what? Honestly, Frankie, honestly, I was really at 5'9" at middle linebacker. Of course, I didn't have the height to go to college, but at the high school level, brother, I was pretty damn good. I was good. I could hit. I was quick. I was strong. I beat them. Yeah.
You didn't.
It was a good sport to me. I love football.
Son of a bitch.
Hey, I will tell you, I can't say that. I can say it off air. Gonzo told me yesterday, and I promised him I wouldn't say nothing controversial.
What'd you say, Chris?
I didn't know you wrestled in high school.
Yeah, I did. I did wrestling in high school. I did lacrosse.
I played football. Have you ever seen the way Frankie's built? Total wrestler, for real. Yeah. No, I'm not even trying to make fun of it. I'm serious. Frankie's got a wrestler's build. He could totally be a wrestler.
I understand what you're saying, but it's not all about build either. Because look at me, and I was the hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, it's about
no. You weren't a wrestler. You're one of them little pre-limbals that came out before at 120 pounds. That's not a wrestler. That's just some dude rolling around in the hay with another dude.
Hey, come on, dude.
Hey, listen, don't come over there. I will give you my slap to the chest.
It's when it comes to high school wrestling, man. It's about speed, stamina.
Hey, look, Tony, just don't hit me in the knees. That's going for blow because my got bad knees. Don't hit me in the knees, Tony.
That's the easy way for takedowns, Jay. Like, what the hell?
No, hey, look. Let me tell you something. Jay went out last night with Melanie, and we went to a concert, and Jay was jumping up and down like he thought he was 20. Bro, the next day, Jay could barely walk. No, I'm serious, Tony. I swear to you, man. My knees were so jacked up. I was like, what the hell was I thinking at 50 years old I could do this stuff?
Who you guys got winning tonight? Suns or Nuggets? We talked a little bit about the other one. We really
that's Nuggets. Denver Nuggets. I got Denver on that one all day. I think it's gonna be Celtics and Denver. I don't know how you guys see it, but I see Celtics Denver. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go on record, if I may. I think Suns get swept. I'm calling for a Denver sweep. And Shay Ness, I hope you heard that.
I do like the Nuggets in this series. I think the Suns' lack of bench depth is really going to hurt them because you're playing KD and.
That's exactly why I think it's going to be a sweep. Is a lack of bench depth.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, Chris. Hold on. a
Jay
hot
Ness.
take.
Who's hot?
Jay Ness, your lack of bench
my
depth.
Jays?
You're getting swept.
Yeah, that was Jay's crazy hot take. Woo! And I
Hey,
love
anybody
it.
got a dustpan? I need to put the Suns in the trash can. I swept them. I just need to put them in the trash can. Anybody got a dustpan I can borrow?
I think
I
the
got
Sun.
a
think-
dustpan and a
go
garbage
ahead,
that
Frank.
you could throw them in.
I think the Nuggets win the series. I think the Suns lack a bench play where you are playing KD, Booker, over 40 minutes a game. Hell, they're playing 44 to 46 minutes a game. And I think as the playoffs go on, that they're going to wear out. And hey, the other guys for the Nuggets are showing up. It hasn't just all been Jokic. Jamal Murray's been playing well. MPJ has played some good, some solid minutes. So I'm not going to go as far as Jay said and say it's going to be a sweep, but I do think the Nuggets win this series.
Real quick, if I may. The reason why I'm saying that to you, and Frankie, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but at the end of it, you're going to understand. Durant in game 1 had a stellar game. 29, 14 rebounds, 1 assist. Not bad. Not bad at all.
What was the shooting?
Booker, hey, hold on.
Hey,
Booker gave you 27, 4, and 8. Not bad. They showed up. However, in a comma, they're the only ones that showed up.
Yeah.
Everybody else was mediocre or baseline at best. That's not going to get it done. And like you said, Gonzo, Phoenix has no bench. They are all top heavy. And that's why I'm telling you, Kevin Durant had a great game, but he is not enough. Booker is not enough to get past this Denver Nuggets team. It's not enough. And when Joker's putting up 24, 19, and 5, and Murray's giving you 34, 5, and 9, and Gordon is giving you 23 and 6 rebounds, when you get a team like that that's deep in the bench as well as top heavy, and they're healthy, this is the year of Denver. I hate to say it. And again, the Lakers are going to play Golden State. We'll see how that turns out. But don't discount this Denver. This Denver team is going to sweep the Nuggets, and then we'll see the winner of the Warriors and Lakers series.
You already know the winner of that series, but okay.
Oh, I want the Lakers to take that series. I really do. I want the Lakers to take that series, but
God, what a
but Frankie, we have to take a step back and put our unbiased views on it and report the unbiased facts. And the unbiased facts are they're playing a team that are the reigning NBA champs, number 1. Number 2, solid at home. And number 3, have incredible chemistry. And number 4, have an amazing coach. And you can't look past that. So although I want the Lakers to win, they're going to have their work cut out for them. And it starts in Golden State and splitting the series. If they can split the series in Golden State 1-1, going back to LA, then the Lakers are on damn good grounds to take the series in LA, going back. They have to play one more game back, but they're in damn good standing. But they got to split the series in Golden State to have a fighter's chance.
What a turnaround year for Jay McLovin. At the very beginning, he said my team wouldn't be in it. He said my team would be eliminated. They wouldn't even be playing contenders. And now we're round 2. We're in round 2.
That was, by the way, Jay McLovin did say that because you're saying my name, so I'm going to say that. Jay McLovin said that pre-trade.
I don't care.
Keep it correct.
I don't care. Pre-trade or not. I don't give a damn.
Well, I know, but facts matter, son of a bitch.
It's a turnaround. And listen, round 2, you got Jay McLovin coming out here saying, I want the Warriors to win that. Or I want the Lakers to win it. I want the Lakers to win it. That's what he said in round 2. I want the Lakers. You just said I want the Lakers to win it.
That's not what I said. Not what I said.
You didn't just say you want the Lakers to win it?
Oh, I did say that I want the Lakers to win it. Oh, I thought you were talking Golden State. I'm going to shut up. now. My bad. I have bad hearing. I don't have my hearing aids yet. Blame the VA on that.
I think that has the potential to be a real entertaining series. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Getting to see them guys go at it again. I did just see a thing that Curry is 15-7, has a 15-7 playoff record versus LeBron, and is 3-1 against them in the finals. They won't be in the finals this time, but 15-7 record.
Yeah.
Curry
Answer me this,
LeBron.
Chris. Answer me this, Chris. In that 15-7 record, any of those win or losses with LeBron James on the Lakers uniform? No. So this is a 0-0 record, damn it. Shut that up. Shut that up.
Hey, I'm curious to know Dustin's take on the Sixers, Celtics, and also the later game,
I just want to know his thoughts on the Lakers.
and the Lakers too. Dustin. If you could comment on those three series, I would like to get your take on that from a stats guy perspective.
I'm going Celtics in 5 because I don't trust Doc Rivers as far as I can throw him.
That's a good point. That's okay. No, I get that. Okay.
I'm
Okay,
going,
It's that guy's a baseball guy. He can't even throw that far. So that's saying something for Doc.
Hold on. He says Celtics in 5. Okay, let's go to the Nuggets. Let's go to the Nuggets series. How are you looking at that one?
I'm going Nuggets in 7 mainly because this is the one round that Michael Malone statistically struggles in.
That's a good point. But statistically struggles in because why? Has Murray been there?
Murray's been there.
Come on. No, stat guy. Let's keep it for what it really is. The guy went there without his 2 sidekicks with him, and you're basing it on that.
No, even when he's had his 2 sidekicks, he's gone into the second round.
No, he has not.
Not in
the playoffs, he hasn't.
In 2020, in the bubble, he did. He went to the Western Conference semifinals.
Okay. If you want to go to the bubble, okay. If we're going to go back 2 years ago.
You're really going to be one of those people that be like the bubble? Really? You're going to be one of those people?
No, look, I didn't say that the Lakers didn't deserve the championship.
I'm not saying nothing about the Lakers. No, I'm not saying nothing about the Lakers.
But I'm just trying to tell you. Come on.
About the bubble. The bubble, being in the bubble don't change how you play basketball.
I don't know. Sometimes that home crowd can motivate you. Sometimes the home crowd can motivate you.
2018, the Denver Nuggets were 54-28. They were the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, and they lost in the conference semis. 2019, they were 46-27, lost in the conference finals. And then 2020, what Frankie just said, they were 47-25, lost in the conference semis. So whenever they have the higher seed, they don't ban well in this stage of the playoffs for whatever reason.
Did I ever tell you that the pink background with the white D says a douchebag on a period to me?
It's just facts.
It's not facts. It's not facts. Dustin, I want you to team. So you see how well the Nuggets are playing. Come on. This team is not messing around.
How many of those games that they've lost in the semifinals were against?
Let me finish.
Well,
that's a good point. Okay. No, well, Gonzo, you son of a bitch, I love you. Fuck you.
Okay. How many of them games was against the Phoenix Suns team with Kevin Durant on it?
Well,
0.
So that's okay. That's a good point. That's a good point. But even Kevin Durant came, like I told you earlier, I gave you the numbers 29, 14, and whatever. He played a great game, and they still lost. They lost.
I know they lost.
So what I'm asking you is, but Guns, stat guy, what? I'm assuming you're saying the Nuggets, but you said the Nuggets and how many? Or are you going with the Suns?
I think it's going 7, but I have the Nuggets beating the Suns.
I don't see that going 7, but I'll give you that. Okay, but either way, that's your take, and it is what it is. So you're saying Nuggets and 7. So now the last one I think that we all want to know about is the Lakers and Golden State Warriors. How do you see that? What's your prediction?
Dustin, after you answer that, I want to take over because I need to go back onto something real quick. But go ahead, Dustin.
Lakers and Warriors are going 7. And I'm picking the Warriors just because that was my pick in the preseason. I'm not going to go back on it. That's solely the only reason why I'm taking it. It has nothing to do with me liking Curry or anything like that. That's who I picked to come out of the West. Don't do
none of that. No. You pick the Warriors.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the world is picking the Warriors. It's expected. They're the
no, but if I would have not picked the Warriors when the preseason started, I would be taking the Lakers in 7.
I
But
get
because
it,
the Warriors
because
were
we
my
got a
pick
totally
from
different
the
team.
because the Warriors were my pick from day one, I'm not going to change it now because they're still in the playoffs. So I'm
And
not
not
going to
just
go back
that,
on their pick.
the time, not just that. The time you picked the Warriors, the Lakers were a whole different team in the beginning.
No, I'm
So, like,
I'm talking like during the preseason, I picked the Warriors to repeat as champions.
right. And I know that, and I just said the reason, the reason you picked them that early was one, they just won the defending, they just won the title, and two, the Lakers roster was not how it is right now.
Exactly.
It was totally different. So
And
I get it.
That is literally the only reason why I'm picking the Warriors in 7 is because I picked them since day one, and I'm not going to go back on it. That's the only reason. That's the only thing I can say about it.
And you know what? You consistent because you never do. You always, every time you pick a team in the beginning, you always stick with them. Toronto last year, Warriors this year. If I'm not mistaken, you picked God, who was it in?
I picked Kansas City to Super Bowl for football.
Yes, Kansas City. Yeah, you picked Kansas City. So like you constant. You're constant. So I give it to you. You stick with your teams and stuff like that. But hey, we'll see. I like it though. Game 7. I like it. 7 games. I love series like that. Honestly, it's 2 best teams going at it, and you know that you're the 2 best when you go 7 games. I mean, it's really good. I like it. But I want to go back to something. Because I like what Jay did. Jay sat there and figured out that he was wrong on what he said about the goddamn Denver Nuggets and tried to flip the whole thing like, well, let me go back on topic. Dustin, okay, so you got them doing this. Jay, what happened? Did that guy throw some knowledge at your way?
No, it's not I've said that Denver. I just told you Denver's going to sweep this series, number one, and I have every confidence that they'll sweep it. Honestly, I truly do.
Right.
Secondly, I want to say something about the Lakers, and frankly, I want you to let me say my 2 cents. Number one, I felt like the Lakers finally did what we all thought the Lakers should have done from day one: is not let LeBron influence where that team, brings in their talent from to complement. I felt like the Lakers let the Lakers committed two mistakes. Number one, they let too many voices come in around Pelinka and try to direct him on where the team should go. Well, Pelinka should have been the general manager that he is now and stay true to what he's doing, and he be the one to bring in the talent and put it and let LeBron do what he does with said talent. And the fact that the Lakers finally got their ship righted up and Pelinka took back control of the team, and he's making the right choices in the trade for D'Angelo, Vanderbilt, and then he brought in Hachimura and so forth. Pelinka is finally doing his job. And had Pelinka done his job, I feel like from the initial beginning, the Lakers would have been much better off. That's water under the bridge. Pelinka finally took control of the Lakers and said, "This is my team. I am the guy that architects it. LeBron is the guy that puts it in motion on the court. And then Ham is the guy that comes up with the plays, and let everybody do their respective jobs," which is what they should be doing. And because Pelinka did his job, the Lakers are 10 times better than where they were last year and what they had to deal with. So I'm going to say one thing. Mad props to Pelinka for grabbing his nuts and doing his job. And now you're seeing the fruits of the labor, which is the Lakers are in the second round of the playoffs, and they're going up against the Golden State Warriors. And if they can take one out of Golden State, come back, now we're looking at a different type of series. But they got to split it. They got to split it in Golden State for that to work. And it can't just be Braun and James. It's got to be 15. It's got to be Mount Chamura. It's got to be
who?
everybody down the Schroeder. It's got to be the whole gamut contributing. And if they can do that, then we'll see where this Lakers team winds up. But at the end of the day, I just want to say that Matt Pelinka restored
Rob Pelinka.
Who the hell's Matt Pelinka, damn it. I'm terrible with first names. I always have been, but I know Pelinka, damn it, leave me alone. Pelinka restored the Lakers organization back intact. And now they got to make smart decisions, this movement going forward. But again, had Pelinka not taken back the reins of the organization and left it up to the likes of, Rhombus and Jenny Buss and Braun and all these other guys, they would not be anywhere along than where they are now. So mad kudos to Pelinka for taking back your job, doing what you're supposed to do, and guiding this team. And I'll tell you, had it not for him doing that, Frankie, you would not be where you are. So Pelinka, good job.
So who do you guys think won the NFL draft this weekend?
Oh, Eagles. Hands down, Eagles.
The Philadelphia Bulldogs.
And I don't even like the Eagles.
Literally the Philadelphia Bulldogs, because they got DeAndre Swift too.
Well, we'll get to Swift in a minute. First of all, let's just look what they did on defense. They lost a couple of components. They replaced a couple of components. They're basically turning the Eagles defense into the Georgia State Bulldogs, which I'm okay with that because, Jesus Christ, man, they're bringing in great players. Now, Swift. Let's look. And by the way, when I say I love, fuck you, Philadelphia. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Fuck you. I just like the direction in which your team is going. I think it's a good direction, but I don't like your team. So fuck you. Anyway, Swift. But Swift, let me ask you, they have Gainwell. They brought in Swift. They lost Sanders. They brought in Swift. That guy. I don't think Swift is going to be a whole lot better. I'm not a big fan of DeAndre Swift, to be honest with you. I never have been. But what do you think? How do you think he fares out there in Philadelphia? I like Gainwell better than I do Swift. But how do you think he fares?
He's literally being brought in to replace Miles Sanders. That's all he's being brought in for. He's gonna have the same role that Miles Sanders had. The only difference is he's a better pass catcher.
That's a good point. But do you think that he's going to be a big difference maker for this team?
Because it's going to give Jalen Hurts an added dimension.
He's already got an added dimension.
He never had that pass. He never had a very good pass catching running back last year. He had 3 good runners in Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell, but none of them were really that receiving threat out of the backfield that Swift is. Now you can line Boston Scott and Gainwell up in the backfield with DeAndre Swift, and you can swing Swift out wide for screen plays or for end arounds or for wheel routes, which gives him another added dimension on offense.
As much as I hate to say it, man, I feel like Philadelphia, gained what they lost in terms of free agents versus draft. And the way they drafted, getting Carter where they got Carter, if Carter can just stay out of trouble, he's going to be a terror on defense. Nolan Smith, I think, is going to be incredible as well. I watched him at Georgia. I loved him at Georgia, and I think he's going to be a complementary player to that defense. They lost nothing truly on offense. They did lose Sanders, but as Stat Guy just pointed out, they brought in Swift, who can catch out of the backfield. So if anything, they added by subtraction on the offense and added by subtraction on the defense. So I think Philadelphia is basically status quo, if not a little bit better than a status quo as the overall team, because now they have even more confidence and playoff experience. And let's be honest, Hurts got the wild card last year, the previous season. This season, he gets to the Super Bowl. I mean, honestly, where can they go from here? I think I got, and I hate to say this because I'm a Dallas Cowboy. Everybody knows me. I believe blue and silver until my day is done. I just don't think that my Cowboys. I'm just trying to say I don't know that my Cowboys. And they brought in Gilmore. I think we give you a push. I think we give you a push for the win on the East. I think the Cowboys will make the playoffs. but here's the deal. No, hold on. But here's the deal. And this is where my deal has always been. My deal has always been in head coaching. And I feel like our head coach, I do not like Mike McCarthy. I've never, and everybody knows this. I've said this since day one, and I've been consistently saying that Jerry Jones is an issue. Mike McCarthy is an issue. We should have gone after Sean Payton. Had we grabbed Sean Payton, I'd feel a lot better about where we are. But given the status quo of Mike McCarthy and company on the offense, I think Dan Quinn is a fucking genius. on the defensive side of the ball. But at the end of the day,
Joe,
I got to give the edge. Hold on. At the end of the day, I got to give the edge. I'm going to give the edge to the Philadelphia Eagles in coaching. Their coaching is just better. It is.
It is better. It is better. But
anybody knows me, I've said this since day one.
Chris, what were you gonna say?
I was just wondering who he thought done the best in the draft. I don't know how we got on who the best coach, how good a Coach McCarthy was.
Jay, Chris is so tired of Jay talking about Dallas or Houston.
The one thing I'm gonna say about Philadelphia this year, though, is what Jay was just about to say about the coaching. Philadelphia is losing both their offensive and defensive coordinators from last year, and we've seen it before when coaches have like really good assistants paired with them to kind of help bring out the best in the team. That when they lose their assistants, sometimes they go through a down year, and Philadelphia may have more talent this year than they did last year, but I don't think they're going to have as good of a record this year because of losing Jonathan Gannon and losing Shane Steichen.
Stat guy, who did you think the Eagles had the best draft?
I think the Eagles had the best overall draft, like top to bottom, because they also added that Kylie Ringo, like in the third round, who was considered a late first, early second round talent, so they got him as kind of a steal. But I do like what Houston did in the first round, basically taking C.J. Stroud and saying, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go and get Will Anderson right after it. They got arguably the best offensive player and the best defensive player in back-to-back picks.
I liked what the Steelers done as well. I thought the Steelers had a good draft too.
Can I ask you two questions? And this is more from a fantasy league perspective. Number one, my first question is, where would you put Bjorn Robinson?
Bijan?
If you're drafting fantasy league football, where would you put Bjorn Robinson?
No. We're not doing that. If you want to go ahead and pick Bjorn Robinson in round one, you go ahead. If you don't want to pick him up, then don't. You're not going to try and get stat guy to give you some stats on him so you can try and like, no. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to cheat real early. You see this, Chris?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Hey,
what the hell?
Hey, Frankie, who did you think had the best draft?
Honestly, God, I want to say Houston. Realistically, I really do want to say Houston, just because like what Stat Guy said. I mean, when you go ahead and you get the best quarterback to be your franchise quarterback, who's actually really good in C.J. Stroud, and then trade up to get the number 3 pick to go ahead and get the best defensive guy to now run your defense for that side of the ball, you basically got two of the best guys on both sides. I mean, you can't go wrong. And they added more talent. And I've been saying all offseason that the Houston Texans have been quietly rebuilding to a team where they're probably going to be looking really good. And nobody's been, talking about Houston as much because they're not, getting big name players and stuff, but they're getting really good star players on their team. They're getting quick wide receivers. They got, they're getting a good running back. They got a good quarterback from the draft. They got the best defensive guy from the draft. So I expect Houston to be really good in this division next year and at least, be a tough competition for Jacksonville. It's going to be really interesting. But overall, like that guy said, you got to give it to the Eagles. You really got to give it to the Eagles. I mean, this is a team that literally just went to the Super Bowl. They lost it. They come out in the draft, and they come out with a bang, getting like every single piece that they need to fill up. And we can call them literally the Philadelphia Bulldogs. And when you have a team that has so many players that played with each other, like I'm not saying that this is like a 4-year or 5-year gap between these players. No, these are players that literally last year they got 2 Georgia people. This year they got 2 different Georgia people. So you got 4 players on the same side of the ball on the defensive line that played together within the last 2 years, and they all won. They all won a championship together. So it was really good by both of them. But damn, I had to give it. I want to give it to Houston, but I got to say the Eagles for me.
And then, real quick before I gotta go to do the next show. How do you guys feel about your team's draft? About your favorite team's draft? Let's start with Jay. How you feel about the Cowboys draft?
Chris, I thought you said you don't have a lot of time until you get to your next show.
Well, that's why I tried to stress it real quick.
That's why he started with Jay.
Should I go make lunch now and then come back?
You know what, douchebag? You just sit there with your capital D on a P.
Come on, Jay. Come on. How do you feel about your team's draft?
Now, how do I feel? 2 words. Maisie Smith.
He loves that
pick. I feel like he's so into that pick.
No, I think we address the need of the run defense. But outside of the run defense, everything else is just kind of, for me, up in the air. I don't know that we addressed all of our needs.
Should have got Michael Mayer.
I just kind of, again, I give it not even a plus. I think we just give Dallas a standard C. Just a standard C. Honestly, a standard C.
What about you, stat guy?
There you go. Quick and easy.
I give Minnesota a B minus just because they didn't have many picks to work with, and the first 2 picks they used, both players came out of USC. One addressed the need in the secondary, but getting Jordan Addison at 23, I think, is going to be bigger than what people realize, because what Jordan Addison is a younger, faster version of Adam Thielen, and that's going to help take the pressure off of Justin Jefferson. Because now, if you want to double Justin Jefferson, you still have to account for T.J. Hawkinson, and now you got to account for Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I like I like that pick. I also like that Seattle took Jackson Smith to put him with Lockett and Metcalf. Well, Frankie, Patriots.
Yeah, I liked with the Patriots. I'm not gonna give them a draft grade. I don't give draft grades. But I like what they did. I mean, they got a good defensive guy in the first round and Christian Gonzalez. And then they continue to go on defense to where I don't know why, because, everybody knows we need weapons and stuff like that. And I wanted those 2 guys from Tennessee, and then they end up going back-to-back, one of the Giants and then one in Atlanta. And then I wanted the guy from North Carolina. I think his name is like Josh Downs or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Dobbs, yeah. He ended up going over to freaking Indy to the Colts. So we got some pretty decent receivers over in the 4th and 6th round. We were the only team to get a wide receiver from Jackson State. So there you go, prime time. We got a guy from your team. We were the only team to actually draft someone from Jackson State. So I'm glad on that. It was a wide receiver, and actually good wide receiver. So I believe in what Bill does. Me and Jay talked about my team's a pick, and I after we talked on the phone, Jay, I actually did relook at our draft picks and stuff like that. And I had to agree with you at the end of it. I didn't like how Bill Belichick went and drafted a punter in the 4th round. I feel like
he got the 49ers taking a kicker in the 3rd round.
He took a punter and a kicker in the 4th round, didn't he?
No, we took a punter in the 4th, and we took a kicker in the 6th.
Okay.
But but Stanford went over and took a
San Francisco traded up to get a damn kicker in the 3rd round. So this guy better be the next freaking Justin Tucker.
Yeah, that's what I tried telling Jay the other day too. I'm like, bro, we were the first team to pick a kicker. Somebody went and picked a kicker in the 3rd round, but we needed, honestly, the Patriots needed it because we have Nick Foles as our kicker. Like, realistically, this is a guy who can't hit a field goal from past 50 yards. So we needed a young leg on our team, and we needed a punter on our team as well. We had the situation with Bailey, and now he's with another team, and we didn't re-sign the guy that we had last year, so we needed to fill that hole as well. But we filled that hole later in the round. But I felt real comfortable with what the Patriots did, and I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do.
And your Colts, Chrissy?
I like what the Colts did. Richardson, I still have my reserves about just because of his 53% completion percentage and not having a whole lot of experience, but I'd rather have Richardson than Levis. So I'm not going to complain too much about that. I like the cornerback Brents that they drafted, and then also like the receiver Downs that Frankie had also mentioned. So I like what the Colts did. They did later in the rounds went after offensive tackle. They got some cornerbacks, which we needed. And then they did make a big signing of a undrafted free agent for offensive line guard that I think that could really help us. So I felt pretty good with what the Colts did. I figured we was going to end up with Levis. That didn't happen. So that pretty much made my draft there.
So
Yeah,
what
that
are
was
your
a fun. That was a fun moment. Throughout the first round, me and Jay, we start off with Chris. Like, yeah, you're gonna get Will Levis. Then they passed on Will Levis, and then it comes my turn. They were just like, yeah, Patriots are getting Will Levis. They had him in for training, and I'm like, damn, they really did. I hope they don't get him. I'm gonna be mad.
so what are your
did it.
thoughts on Hendon Hooker going to Detroit?
Oh, he's gonna be a stud next year. He's gonna be a stud.
I'm telling, and the great thing about it is you got a guy like Jared Goff. Wait, you got Jared Goff holding down the front, who's a for Detroit is a good, quarterback for those guys. You got him holding down the front while Hendon Hooker. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Let's not say.
No. How can you say? Wait a minute.
You cut people off all the time. If I want to cut you off once, I will. But here is what I was trying to say. Does not say Jared Goff is just a good quarterback for Detroit. He played at a Pro Bowl level last year.
Yes, he did.
Now you can continue, Jay. I was just making a point.
Oh my God.
Damn it, if you cut me off, I'm going all the way into the green room, and I'll wait in the green room until you're done.
Okay, well,
No, all I'm saying is, look.
I also think that Hendon Hooker. I'm joking. Go ahead. I'm just joking. Go ahead. Chris got a show. Come on, stop playing around with your fingers.
Okay. All I'm trying to say, and what I was trying to say was I felt like that's a good spot for Hendon because you can sit back, recover from your injuries, let golf continue to do golf-like things and keep you competitive. And then, honestly, when it's time for your time to shine and golf's time to leave, you'll have absorbed, like Gonzo says, you'll have watched, you'll have learned, you'll have recovered. You'll know what the pro-style offense looks like, and they'll be ready to take charge. And that could be a nasty, nasty thing coming out of Detroit with the quarterback like Hendon Hooker. I'm just saying. I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off at the end of the day when Hendon takes off, and they're like, "When we passed up on this guy," and we took the likes of whoever it was before Hendon. We're like, "Oh my God, what the hell were we thinking?"
I feel like people are going to feel like that about Will Levis. I honestly feel like Will Levis is going to come out in the preseason and just dominate and look really good. And then he'll probably going to get one
He has to.
And then he's going to get like at least that one shot. And when he gets that one shot, he's just going to like show out and just show people like what they missed on for him going in like the second round and stuff like that. And Chris, I can't wait for just Chris to come out and just be like, damn it, why didn't we get Will Levis?
The best form of revenge is to go out and show out, and then you'll have bragging rights for all those that took other quarterbacks over you. But if you don't show out, then you got to shut the fuck up.
And he went to the AFC South, so he's in the same division as the Colts as well.
All I know is I don't have to buy a Patriots or a Colts jersey because Hooker was not gone in the first round.
How funny is that?
I like the Hooker pick for Detroit. I was hoping Hooker would go.
No, you just got to go get your arch rival because aren't you a Bears? No, you're a Minnesota Vikings. So you got to go get an opposite North opponent's jersey over your own. How crazy is that?
I have a Lions jersey. I have two Lions jerseys actually.
Anyway, Chris, to go to your point, if you think about it, you can look at the future of your division. You got Bryce Young to deal with.
No, Bryce Young's in the NFC.
No, yeah, he's in the NFC. My bad.
CJ.
Not Bryce. It's CJ Stroud, right? You got your guy. You got your guy. You got Will Levis, and now you got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, sunshine.
Like that's a great. Just think about it. Like that's a crazy future division right there. To have Will Levis all in your division,
what people think they could be.
Just to have Will Levis in your division, you should feel good.
Let's get out of here. You got to go to your show.
At least he's a Titan and not a Colt. I might regret that later on, I guess, but right now I feel good.
Oh, clip it. 152.48. I might regret it right now.
Hey, Chris, if you're really having second thoughts about it, go get Caleb Williams next year.
Woo! Whoever gets Caleb Williams is gonna be set.
I want Marvin Harrison Jr. next year.
Hate to say it, I think Houston will do what they can to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year with CJ.
Hell yeah! Could you imagine that connection? Oh my lord!
I don't think so. I don't
Take
think so
us,
because
take us to the motherland. Let's do some
hold on.
last thoughts.
Hold on, because I don't think so because Houston gave up their first round pick next year to Arizona.
They still have one. They still have a first round.
Yeah, they
pick
still have
next
one
year.
left.
Yeah.
And they can always move up in the draft.
I don't think so. I don't think because if they play actually good this year, as we expect them to be, how late in the first round they're gonna be? Nobody's gonna make that trade with Houston.
I'm saying if the Colts don't do good this year, but Richardson has a decent season, bring Marvin Harrison Jr. on in.
Hey, bring Marvin Harrison Jr. Shut your mouth and bring us out.
All right. Thank everybody for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'll be live here in about 10-15 minutes with Easy Money, a sports betting show. Come join us for that. Picks have been doing good. Hope everybody enjoys their Monday. Got some NBA basketball tonight, baseball. You have one game on right now, Braves and Mets. They're playing a doubleheader today as well. But we'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, for another episode of ASAP Afternoon Blitz.